week 3 of the fantasy football season, and here's a few quarterbacks I looked at off the wire this week. The first quarterback, Derek Carr of the New Orleans Saints. So far, this same team's taken the league by storm with 2 blowout victories. Week 1 versus the Carolina Panthers, winning 47-10 in that one. And then week 2 going into Dallas and beating them 44-19. So Derek Carr, in this new offensive system, he looks comfortable, and then hitting big plays with Rashid Shaheed and Alvin Kamara has been great so far in the early going. So week 1 versus the Panthers, 200 pass yards, 3 touchdowns in that one, 13 rushing. And week 2 with the Cowboys, 243 pass yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception, and a 1-yard QB sneak for a touchdown. So week 3, a decent matchup versus the Philadelphia Eagles. I know their secondary isn't all that great. I've got guys like Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed who could spread the field and make plays, and Alvin Kamara in the backfield, who's looking, like I said, like prime Kamara from a few seasons ago. It just makes everything easier, and this offense, Derek Carr's comfortable in. So right now, available in 81% of fantasy leagues. I don't know if it's going to keep up, but he's been one of the better quarterbacks in the early going, and definitely someone teared off the wire this week. The next quarterback, Sam Darnold of the Minnesota Vikings. So Sam Darnold so far, first 2 weeks of the season, including an upset victory over the Niners in week 2. Sam Darnold looks solid, and I know Justin Jefferson's banged up, but he's saying he's not going to miss any time, he believes, which is good for Sam Darnold, obviously, and this Minnesota Viking team. So week 1 at the Giants, 208 pass yards, 2 touchdowns, an INT. In week 2 versus former team, the Niners, 268 pass yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception, and 32 rushing yards. So week 3, middle of the pack matchup versus the Houston Texans, where we know they put a lot of points on the board is Houston. And this offense, they're going to have to throw the ball if they want to keep up with this Houston Texan team. So right now, more deeper leagues, I would advise owners to go out there and get Sam Darnold, or if in a 12-team league you want to get him as a backup, because I just don't love the matchup that much in week 3. But so far, Sam Darnold's look good. When you got a guy like Justin Jefferson, the best receiver, I believe, in the game overall, it makes your job easy. And Sam Darnold so far, he's looked poised and comfortable in the pocket and out there, available in 87% of fantasy leagues. Next quarterback's Geno Smith of the Seattle Seahawks. So Geno Smith 2 years ago had a big season. Last year was a down year. And so far this season, 2 solid games for Geno Smith. Quarterback, for the most part, it's been a weak position in the early going, where we've seen some top quarterbacks not even get 15, 18 points. Week 1 versus Denver, 171 pass yards, a touchdown, 30 rush yards, and a rushing touchdown. And week 2 with the Pats, 327 pass yards and a touchdown for Geno Smith. So week 3, it could potentially be a shootout with the Miami Dolphins, even though obviously with Tua, he can play unless Tua really pushes and gets good news. But I don't expect him to play. But I believe Geno and this offense going back home to Seattle could go out there and have a good game. And Geno Smith, he has great weapons. We saw JSN with the monster ball game going over 100 yards, 16 targets. DK Metcalf, he broke out with a big performance, 130 yards and a touchdown. Got Tyler Lockett, Charbonnet, if Kenneth Walker, he'll be in the backfield. So a lot of good weapons on Seattle. And Geno Smith, like I said, when he was healthy 2 years ago, he was a top 10 quarterback in fantasy points. So right now, available Geno Smith in 66% of fantasy leagues. And the final quarterback I looked at off the wire is Justin Fields of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Justin Fields, I believe he's going to keep the starting job for this Pittsburgh Steelers team. They're 2-0 with him, and I know he's not running the football a whole lot, but he's still getting that football down the field. He's going out there making some plays as Fields. I know the first 2 weeks the numbers haven't been great, but he's definitely matured as a quarterback and has more awareness and pocket presence. Week 1 in Atlanta, 156 pass yards, 57 rush yards. And week 2 with Denver, 117 pass yards, a touchdown, and 27 rushing yards on 8 attempts. He's not turning the football over. He's making smarter plays as Justin Fields, and he's not holding on to the football a lot as well, where he's just looking to run every play. So in the scheme of the offense, in terms of that, he's playing good. I know the fantasy numbers haven't been there, but we just know with Justin Fields, the rushing upside, available in 80% of fantasy leagues. That's a few quarterbacks I looked at off the wire for week 3 of the fantasy football season.